Well, this is Guns, Knives, and Watches, and I deliberate about my pack constantly. I work through it, and we kind of see what works and what doesn't. Now, this is the same Kelty map pack that I've shown multiple times, but what it's done, it's gone through a major transformation into what I actually need and what my family actually needs to actually make it in any given situation. Clothing, of course, when you go out in the wilderness is the most important thing you have. And without going through a lot of crap, I'm just going to go from the outside in. I'll show you a few things that have changed. One thing that hasn't changed is the sewing kit. That sewing kit's very important. Go back and watch my other videos. You want to see what's in them. Phone chargers of a couple different kinds. Very important. A couple whistles. Now, if you notice the integration in this is there are multiple maps or books. Not for me so much because I've read them, memorized them. Medical plants, trees, outdoor knots, edible plants. And the lock sacks, 3 different sizes. I've gone over this multiple times. 12 by 12, 3 to 7, and 6 by 9. Now, so all that's pretty much the same. Nothing's really changed there. And by the way, all these manuals are from the Pocket Naturalist Guide. You can get them on Amazon. Of course, we've got wipes just like we've always had. Blue Scott towels like we've always had. Surefire. I don't know what the hell they call this thing, but it's an infinitely progressive headlamp. They're, you know, infinitely. It takes a CR123 battery. Here's where things start changing. My family, in case there's 2 whistles, splits up. So this is an E2L Outdoorsman from Surefire, and it has dual capacity. It has a high and a low beam because it has the KX2 head on it. Is that the best head? And it also has a lanyard from Surefire. Of course, we still have our writing instrument, which this is from Countycom. This is their aluminum pin because every other pin sucks they make. They're very heavy. This isn't the lightest pin in the world, but what it is, it has knurling on it. And since it is aluminum, it's the lightest they make. It has knurling on it. When you're sweat or you have blood, this, that, or the other, you can actually write with it. And it's a Fisher Space Pen. And then we have a Write in the Rain notebook pad. We have 4 backup batteries for the headlamp. It has 2 backup batteries, and then for the handheld flashlight. I added back again this Spyderco Delica 4 full flat ground because it's the lightest Delica, and this is what it's the size that my family can actually use. And of course, we have the Victorinox Swiss Tool Spirit. This is the Swiss Tool Spirit X that has the actual penknife blade on it, not the serrated butter knife blade. And believe it or not, this is the lightest Swiss Tool Spirit they make. Only by a few grams, but it's still, every gram counts. This is the K&R compass. The K&R compass, it's a liquid-filled polymer type encapsulated thing. It has a mirror on it, and that mirror can be used for a lot of things, mainly for hygiene, this, there, or the other. Also has a magnifying glass, which is also awesome. So we've gotten into a few things that have changed. I've added another flashlight. I've added another pocket knife because this kit is designed to sustain multiple people. Now, here's the kicker. This kit's under 18 pounds. Now, you need to understand that everything that I'm showing you and about to show you, because it's about to get really different, is under 18 pounds. I've got my Disney Nike golf hat, which is from Ahead, because I just like it. It's a morale booster for me. I've got my first aid kit. Of course, my first aid kit is not just a first aid kit. Once you go through it, you realize that there's money in here enough for a tank of gas, and there are things in it that might not be in a normal first aid kit, which are things like, grab all this stuff, 4 polymer handcuff keys, a set of sear picks that are titanium because they have low magnetic signature, a single pick, and then a Bogota. They're both that type of design, but one's for raking, one's for single picking, and the other one is a cutter from SOG. We took out of SOG knives. Now when you look at all this stuff, you're going to go, you know, Chink, you're old school. We don't use that stuff anymore, and people make different stuff nowadays. Well, I'm old school, shoot me. If somebody says that shit to me, I'm going to say you're a young prick. That's real deal, and this is just really how I roll. We've got a green, black, a brown, and a white key. So my kit, and you can't see any of that in the first aid kit as you're just going through it. You would actually have to break it down individually to see those things. And it's not in a pack where the money is, because the money's something somebody's going to pick up on very quickly. Money's here, okay? Nothing else for that pack is there. Now, sorry if calling someone a young prick is insensitive to your fine or your makeup. I didn't get my job because when I fart there comes out sunshine and rainbows. I got my job because I was the hardest son of a bitch, and I actually made it. I've got a large Sea to Summit stuff sack, of course with the 2 towels which I've shown previously that can be used for insulation in a pinch. Obanoff's treated gloves from Costco. They aren't Wolverine. These are the ones that actually work. These are the Wells Lamont. And I treat those things constantly. You can see they keep getting darker as the videos progress because I keep treating them. I've got a good set of REI 100% wool gloves and Filson wool inserts for that set of gloves. Now here's another thing that's going to get really different, because in this blue bag everyone always saw a Katadyn water filter. Well, nowadays what they're going to see is they're going to see a Platypus 2-liter bag, another Platypus 2-liter bag, because 2 is 1 and 1 is none, a set of portable Aqua water purification tabs, which these are 32-ounce treatment, and a Sawyer. This is the large filter, which is the 0.1 micron and will do about 1 million gallons, and also has the backwash syringe in the pack. As I said, all of this is under 18 pounds. It's actually 17.8 pounds, but let's don't go there. So I've changed my water purification system, and I've dropped a lot of weight out of this pack, but I've added a lot of features. I've added a lot of capability. Now in this bag, which I guess is the same as it's always been, we've got our bank line, which is basically a tar-treated line. We can take that apart. We can do all kinds of things with it. We've got about 100 meters of 550 paracord, which we can use in 3 different ways. We've also got 4 stakes, which these are the MSR, and these are really good stakes. And then this is an outdoor research ultralight bag, and I guess this is the large. Okay, this blue one was a medium. Okay, now here's another outdoor research stuff sack, and what we've got in it are a few other changes. Of course, we've still got our soap, which this is convenient when you're out because you can wash anything and everything with it, hair, body, everything. And this is 3 ounces, which is probably more than you'll ever need, but I travel with 3 women, so welcome to the real world. This little thing, which used to be in my first aid kit, which I switched out with a Nalgene bottle, now carries these solid fuel tablets, and I'll show you why these solid fuel tablets are important. There's 6 of them in there. Do you have to have them in a container like this? No. I just do for convenience, and I've got another container for something. And those are from Copeland. These are not the Esbit. These are 7, gram, whatever. They're great for starting a fire and use. So I've increased my capability of my kit. Of course, I've still got my UCO matches. I've still got my orange fucking whatever the hell that is, handkerchief with 2 light my fire titanium sporks. As you see, this kit is not for one person. It was never designed to be for one person. It was never set up for one person. I went back to my Mora knife because this in reality I can do a lot with. Along with this Mora knife and this saw, I can do what I really need to do. Now, is this saw going to do a lot of wood? No. Is this knife going to do a lot? No. But for what I actually need, will actually work. I got my Pathfinder bottle in here. This is the 32-ounce Pathfinder bottle. This with the old lid. I don't like the new lid. And inside of it, I got some Nature Valley granola bars, and there are 5 of them in here because this kit is designed for 5 people. Now, in a pinch, what I will do is I will sacrifice my water, my own, this, that, or the other. But what you also notice is with 2 32-ounce containers and 2 2-liter platypus, I actually have the ability to carry 6 liters in this pack, which is why the volume had to be reduced. Got some food in here, which is capable for everyone to use. I've got a Pathfinder cup. Now this is the 2nd generation cup. This is before they fucked up the handles on the 3rd generation. I've showed you that on previous videos, how they screwed up the new one, and how they screwed up the cap too. But let's not go there. What I've got in here, of course, I still have my SOL, which means you're shit out of luck, or survive outside longer tarp, which this is to provide me and my family shelter in case it rains. We're out, we don't have raincoats, we're out on a trail. That's what this is really for. This is not going to be an overnight shelter unless we get shit ass out of luck. But what it is it just keeps us dry, along with the other parts of that kit. What I've also got in here is I've got 2 3-mil trash bags. These are contractors, drum liner basically. And then I've got a 3rd one that we basically use for our dirty clothes when we're out on vacation, this, that, or the other. So I've got 2 that are dedicated and not used. I got 1 that I keep reusing all the time. These things are about 6 ounces, so when you're packing these in, you have to understand that they have a weight to them. Now, since we've all seen the pack, let's move the pack out of here. And let's get to this, because this is what's actually important. And I know I'm wearing Crocs, and if you think that's a fag gear, then you're oh Lord, they're good house shoes and they're garden shoes, which is actually what they're designed for. Now, see, you got 2 titanium stakes here, and that signifies that there's something different here, and that cap's not fitting all the way on there. Now, from 4 Dog Stoves, this pot is actually called a Moore's pot. I know they sell it at the Pathfinder store, and I know a lot of different things, but what it actually is Morris Kohansky actually is the originator of the design of this actual pot. Now, has this pot existed long before Morris Kohansky? Yeah, but they actually constructed it in the United States, and you know, the black anodized coating, this, that, or the other, and actually getting this done. And 4 Dog Stoves is actually a good supplier and people to actually buy this pot from. Now, when you're buying things from 4 Dog Stoves, I'm gonna bring back something else. What I lacked in my kit was I had a lot of stuff where I'm restricted to a fire, and I have to have a fire of a certain size and this, that, or the other, and I have to have a certain volume of wood. And it has to burn for so long, we're going to have to create charcoal and this, there, or the other. So what I did was, and I'll get into why this lid is different than the Pathfinder, that gay-ass stuff they're selling now. The their lid, because the whole design is different. This lid actually has a flange on the bottom of it which you can actually deform out to make it fit tight on this pot. And your lid's going to get loose. The actual Pathfinder's top lid is actually formed totally opposite to where you cannot modify it. And if you try to take the pot and push it in and make it tighter, it will actually push the lid off of it. Let's don't go there. Now inside of here, I have got the some fat wood in a cravat, which is good. It just makes it work. Of course, I got that from the Pathfinder store because it was what I was getting at the time. I got this from the Pathfinder store. Also, this is a ferrocerium rod. It's about 6 inches long. The story behind these big, large ferro rods comes from the Air Force. The trainers, this, there, or the other. And if you want to get into that story, you know, there's probably information out there on it. They used to buy large ferro rods and then cut them down. I'm sure that's what they probably did here too. Now, this is a 4-Dog Stoves titanium stove here. Now, this is the 3, which is the largest stove that they make. And what this actually does, this thing will cook any biomass. Any biomass, which means wood. It will take these, you know, grass, whatever you want to put in it. It will take these solid fuel tabs. You can use those to start the fire. Just don't use any of that Pathfinder wax-coated shit because it'd probably gum up this titanium stove. Why titanium? Because it's just stronger than hell and it resists a lot of heat. It has a fan type configuration to actually make the air as it goes through it go into a vortex, and then it preheats air that comes in from the outside and then comes up through these inside holes, and then that gives you secondary combustion of the wood gas. And you shouldn't get much smoke out of this after a little bit of experience with it. I got another one that I've been using. This is the one in my pack. People ask me why I would give away something once it gets a little soot on it, this, there, or the other. Because if I'm pulling this shit out, it's not for my safety or my security, it's for someone else's. And then I give this gear away. If you're in that lucky situation, or no, let me put it this way. If you're in that unlucky situation, trust me, you'll be very thankful for it. It's got a bottom to it that actually keeps you from burning a bunch of shit, catching stuff on fire below it. You actually can start the fire. It's a really good setup. I've also got a titanium windscreen in here. This windscreen just basically slides together. Why titanium? Because number one, titanium is lighter than steel. Also, it's very flexible. It's very this, there, or the other. You can put your windscreen around there, put your pot on here, and then cook with it. And that pot, that lid fits very tight on there. You can pick up the entire pot. The reason Morris Kohansky and this, there, or the other wants that lid to be very tight is because if this comes off your stove and falls down with your food or whatever in it, it ought to be tight enough that the lid doesn't pop off, and it actually keeps your food safe and whatever you've done. You're going to lose a little bit out of the pour lid, but that's an important thing to Moors. Once you spent the time and the effort and this, that, and the resources getting what's in this pot, you don't want to lose it. So what you basically do is you have a very tight-fitting lid, and you have to just, you know, you figure it out. With this type configuration, you can make this lid by deforming it fit tight as the pot. You use it over years, this, there, or the other, and make it basically to however tight you want. What are these titanium stakes for, you ask? It's to get additional ventilation into your stove. You basically just slide them through. That can keep your actual grate, wind grate up off there. You get more air circulation coming up through it. This, there, the other, da, da, da. Now, this can also use alcohol. I do not have the alcohol pan in here because I don't carry alcohol, and it's not the way I cook. I will either cook off, I'll probably cook off wood, and then just use these to light a fire in case of an emergency, or this, there, or the other, in case I need a really quick fire. Which these are, as I said, those Coghlan fuel tabs. Now, Morris Kohansky, you can actually look on his, they have a website. Go to Four Dog Stoves, and they can tell you a lot about this setup, tell you more than I can. Now, this is not an inexpensive setup by any stretch of the imagination. It's probably going to be around $150. But as I said, I've got a less than an 18-pound pack that will do a tremendous amount of work. And I've even added a stove, added fuel tabs, added a lot of gear to it, and cut the weight. Now, how I cut the weight is basically taking into account what I realistically use, what I don't use, and getting it down to this. So, this is Guns, Knives, Watches, and hope this video helps you out. I'm sorry that I change my pack all the time, but my concept of what my family needs and what we can use constantly evolves with technology like this Sawyer. This thing does 1,000,000 gallons. You back flush it with this, whenever, every so often, every time you use it. If you ever have a problem with this thing, you want to store it for a long time, put a cap full of bleach and some water, run it through it. That's how you store this thing. The instructions are on the bag that comes with it. I don't use the bags that come with it because I like things being clear, man. That way I have a good understanding of what the hell's going on in my world. Anyway, this is Guns, Knives, Watches, and some of the changes I've made in my pack. My pack's under 18 pounds. Why is that important? Because now that's with some food and no water. Once you add the water, of course, water is 8 pounds per gallon, you know the drill. And I've got 2 flashlights, I've got 2 of almost everything. I've got the ability to protect my family from rain. I've got the ability to improvise raincoats with these 3mm trash bags. I've got the ability to do a lot of different things. This is Guns, Knives, Watches. I even have hygiene in there, and carry 6 liters of water. But to me, this is my kit. This is my real world environment. I'm not out in the woods. I'm not this, there, or the other. I'm more of an urban type situation. I'm going to be in more urban type situations, or I'm going to be able to have access to urban type situations. When I do that, I have to interact with people. When I interact with people, I have to understand things like how to deal with things like possibly being illegally detained, and how to get out of that. How to actually deal with locks, deal with all these other things. Deal with small little things like, this mirror is great for stuff, you stick yourself in your face and you got a mirror, I'm not big on the signal mirror type concept, but that's just me. I've got, 100 meters of line, which I can use a lot of different ways, a lot of different colors. This is Guns, Knives, Watches, and I hope this kind of helps you understand a little bit more about me, my world, my this, there, the other, because I deal with the world of people. I don't deal with the world of just going out in the wilderness and fuck with animals. I actually have to deal with people and deal with them in such a way as to keep them safe and help them out, and keep my family safe, and interact with people in such a way to where I'm not some antisocial person in camouflage going through there going, we're going to, be a lunatic. This is Guns, Knives, Watches. Have a good one.